Back here live at the Waterfront Village with my friend, the zombie, Jonathan. You're looking good. Jonathan just got an awesome face paint job. What do you think?
I make turtles.
It's now time for Big D Energy with four-time Stanley Cup champ Darren McCarty and the golden voice of Neil Rule. Live on the Woodward Sports Network, 99.1 and 93.5 The Roar, the Woodward Sports app, and anywhere you listen to podcasts. Let's talk some sports. It's Big D Energy.
Yo, what's up, everybody? Back at it here. Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network. My name is Neil Rule. That guy's name over there is D-Mac, Darren McCarty. We got Sam Flannel on time, on brand, and on budget. Got the black and white flannel on today. We got Sawyer in the house as well. He's rocking the Old English D hat here today, and we are ready to roll on a Friday. And, you know, this whole blast of snow last night, D-Mac, that one broke my spirit. Like, I know I told you guys, like, I had enough early.
Yeah.
I'm broken now, beyond repair.
Really?
Like, that's it.
Even the double furnace didn't help.
No, dude, it's enough. Enough.
Was
and
that,
I know, and I look, I know.
Is it because of the driving or?
Yeah, it was that. You know, now I got to go, when I go home now I got to deal with it when I get home. It's just enough. Get out of here, Fish. Your show's over. Get out of the studio, Fish.
You spoon spaghetti eater. Get out of here. That's blasphemy.
Fish is telling me.
Who eats spaghetti and ramen with a spoon? That's the conversation we were having with Fish. That's unbelievable.
He does not eat spaghetti with a spoon.
He was trying to take you off your snow. Was that the only reason you were sour this morning?
Yes.
You were coming in on a bad day. You had a bad day today.
No, you know what?
I already saw
Oh,
Heel
boy,
Neil.
here we go. Yeah, here we go. Here we go, yeah.
Oh, there he is, ladies and gentlemen. If you're watching on the tube.
I'm a man of my word. I paid my debts to society, and there it was. I bought D-Mac his over-medium eggs from his NASCAR swindling that he did to me. And look, I was going to save this for later, but here, we're on it right now.
I want
your
you off the
guys'
snow.
little Super Bowl race, your little NASCAR Daytona. It's the greatest race of all time, all of it. It's not. It's a sham. It's a fake. It's a phony. All it is stepping up to a crap table and rolling the dice. And you guys are like, it's so great because there's going to be all these wrecks, and you just hope you're not in it. You don't. There's no protection.
You had to pay to play, and you picked the challenge.
D-Mac,
you had
hold
the
on.
defending champion.
Hold on. You guys think it's all cool with your Super Bowl at the beginning of the season, and there's going to be all these wrecks, and it's going to be great. All it is stepping up to the crap table. There's going to be all these wrecks, and you just hope you're not in them. How's that a strategy? How's that protecting your good drivers? How's that marketing your stars? Just hope you're not in the wreck. Cool story, bro.
Let me put my
cool
therapist
sport
hat
you got
on here,
there.
Neil. Is there a craps issue you have? If you have a bad crap, you're just not good at craps. It's not your game.
No,
stuff.
that's literally what that is. It's a spin of the roulette wheel.
Thought, Neil, welcome to the party. It's just like, get
out of here.
Everywhere you said you enjoyed the monthly fees. I'm sure you got your monthly coffee, and then you went into your Planet Fitness, and you did all. So just consider this. This was your entry into. I got the enjoyment out of it. I mean, that was seriously, no word of a lie, one of the best over medium eggs I've ever had in my life.
I bet it was.
In my life. So I didn't really. Is it snowing out? I thought it was sunny.
Of course it's snowing because it's always snowing. It's been snowing for 2 months straight. Every single day it snows. That's all it does.
You know what I found out, though? Sawyer's not working hard enough. I saw him sitting down eating a breakfast sandwich. I need him walking, eating.
Right.
Can we address that
Things are getting a little loose around here, D-Mac.
A little bit loose. But, hey, on that point, it is Friday. So look forward to a lot of news today in the quarter mile and later on in the show, Sawyer.
Yeah, I'd say we got a pretty good day.
Yeah.
Pretty good one.
Again, prayers go out to everybody who's family and friends with everything that's going on in the world. We're obviously everybody paying attention. So let's, So you got a shovel. What about what's Cristiano doing? He's off of school.
He is off of school. I did send him the text. I'm like, hey man, can you take care of the porch, take care of the walkway?
If I was his dad after the way he just absolutely buried my AEW yesterday. That thing would have been clean.
Mike G, shout out to Mike G, by the way, on our YouTube chat thread. You can tap in as well on our YouTube chat thread. You can jump in there, get your thoughts on there. Mike G unseats Detroit Dabber as the first one in this morning. So
is that the first time you've seen Dabber unseated?
I think it's happened once or twice before.
We like the competitiveness.
We do. Everyone's fired up to get in there. Certainly, I do like it.
If Dabber wasn't outside shoveling his driveway, he would have been in first. Dabber, way to go. Way to take care of your business.
Gatorator Neil gets mad when he has to run both furnaces at once in this cold that I think. No, it's just I've been broken today. You know what I'm saying? It's just, and it's not that it's been awful. Like, we haven't gotten that 10-inch, you know what I'm saying? Like, we haven't gotten buried or anything like that. It's just this extended period of cold, and it's always windy, and it's awful going anywhere. You know what I'm saying? It's the parlay of all that stuff.
Well, you know what I like is
I've had enough.
If you don't know, the Batman movie's coming out, and they're famous for Gotham City. That's what Detroit's known as. So welcome to Gotham. I mean, it is what it is. I think that the frustrating. Hey, Dad, insult to injury. By the way, just so everybody knows, I think 12 Mile to Square Lake on 75 will be shut down over the weekends now, just to make it a little bit worse.
You know what though? I don't care. Like, fix them. I don't shut them all down. I don't care.
No, you're right.
I'll take a rocket pack to work. Whatever we got to do.
Here's a poll. Does the weather what frustrates you more, the weather or the potholes? Right, you know what I'm saying? Like, is it the fact that
you're onto something there?
What it's coming? Because like this little Dustin, and I'll tell you why I'm not in a bent mood, and it's not just because of the eggs and I found the cherry preserve in the fridge. It was delicious. It's because when I went to clean off my car this morning, I could clean it off with my arm. Right? So it's not I didn't have to get in there and grease down. So I guess it's sort of, I looked at it that it was a nice little dusting. But to me, what's ever more important is the potholes. Like it's ridiculous, and whether it's because of the weather and stuff like that. So I think the fact that everything down into what? Now, let me ask you this. Were you out driving it last night? As it was coming down, did you?
Yeah. I left work, the night job over at Oakland. I left there, and it had just started. And of course, and look,
so that
I'm not here. Here's the deal. This is going to sound bad.
I'm trying to get you out of this as we get into the weekend, so you can enjoy your weekend. We're going to leave all this angst here.
Here's the deal, and this is it's all a factor, right? It's never one singular incident. Here's the deal. I got the grocery store text last night as I was getting ready to leave.
You're never allowed
Oakland
to use
University.
the express lane again? Is that the text?
I got the text yesterday, the grocery store text. Hey, Kenya, the Kenya. Which, don't get me wrong. It's fine. I'm happy to do it. I am. I'm happy to do it. It's fine. I'm out anyway. You may as well do it, right? But I get there and I get the stuff. Then I notice I got to get gas. Then it's snowing like this. Then I got to bring in the groceries, put them all away. I still got to eat, too, because I'm getting back from the game. Like, it was all those things, dude. And then you wake up and the roads are bad and the traffic, all those things put together.
And the bitterness of the coming in.
And then I got to buy you eggs because I got swindled and hustled because you guys think that this greatest thing ever is really a joke.
I guess so on this Friday, right? I guess my advice, or what I would hope for everybody, because we're sort of all going through this together, is just you leave it here, Neil. That you get to leave it here, task at hand, and then you enjoy your weekend, because I'm sure you're still gonna. It's not gonna be over soon. What this weather just keeps telling me, though, is that really the seasons have changed. I mean, we're going to go more into, it's going to snow into April and stuff like this. It just seems
that, and that's the other thing. Like, I'm starting to think that, how you get that teaser day in March?
The tease is you get 2 days of 45, which means here it feels like 70.
Right.
You're out there. I was out there, didn't have a winter coat on and stuff like this. You get used to it, and then they dump this on you.
No, it was... Because usually you get those teaser days in March, that day where it pops to 58, between 58 and 63 or whatever, and you're like, all right, dude, we're going to get there. And then it gets cold one more time, and then you deal with it. It's just the way that this cold has been extended. That's the other thing too, with the wind chill and all that stuff.
And it hasn't been right, because it's been colder. right? So and keep it below,
and that's what it is.
Below freezing and stuff like this doesn't help.
And look, we all got stuff we're going through in our life. Yeah, we all got stuff we're going through in our life, and I trust me, I understand that. My life is very, very easy. I've always said that. You know, I kind of come out here and vent a little bit, but I have a feeling a lot of you are feeling the same things that I'm feeling. Don't get me wrong, my life is very, very easy right now. You know, it is. It always has been. So I am grateful for that. But the weather, man.
I get it.
I'm getting frustrated, dude.
I get it.
That's
Welcome
all there
is.
That's all there is.
You'll get used to it. A couple more seasons here, you'll get used to it.
A couple more seasons. I know I've got 40-plus seasons in the game here. And that's the other thing, too. Like, as you get older.
Isn't it funny, though? Like that's the thing. We all lived here through it all. And
we know it's
every year we're here
complaining.
The roads and the weather. Why do I live here?
Yeah. Jake Wegener says, Neil, I won't watch the USFL. Also, Neil has more USFL gear than anybody. Look, this shirt right here, this Michigan Panther shirt, as you see right here, this shirt is the Bobby Hebert, Anthony Carter, Michigan Panthers. This shirt is guys who left the USFL to play in the NFL and have great careers in the NFL, to win playoff games in the NFL. This is not the Shea Patterson Michigan Wolverines.
That's Neil's only piece of memorabilia after he handed in the playbook back
after I got called to the coach's office.
Back in 89 or 93, whenever that was, they gave him the shirt, and he wears it to this day with pride.
Yeah.
12th round pick.
Mike says, can you, rule breaker, can you pick up 30 new cereal bowls and bust through the U-Scan line like you're Earl Campbell? You know I went through the U-Scan. I only had like 12 items, though, so I was on.
Did you feel like you were underperforming? Or, I mean, did you feel like it was just like a mail? Like, no, if you're a wrestler, you didn't have a show that night, you just had to make that appearance in the back?
You know, I stopped at Meijer on the way home just to let everybody in. And so, like, I went through the line, and the lady there was as aggressive as I was, like in terms of, like I had a bottle.
You up a little bit when you see somebody at the checkout line doing it your way, like having I
had a bottle of something that had a security tag on it, so I got that because I walked past it and I said, "Oh wow, they have that in stock now. All right, I'll grab one." And so I grabbed one, and she was, as I was scanning, she came over and took the security tag off the bottle while I was scanning. Ooh, and then I was just able to reach over and grab it and throw it in, and we were moving, man. We were cooking.
Was the line busy? Was it busy?
No, I wasn't. I wasn't. It was later at night. But that's it. Tammy Chin says Neil's got the OG shirt on. Big Play J, nice shirt, Neil. And I appreciate that. You guys go ahead and tap that. Rich Diana, how many items, Neil? I had about 12 or 13. I was within the confines. I was within the limits. And even if I weren't, I still would have been quicker than the person with 8 items.
That's it. You take yourself pride. We're gonna have to have a field trip over across the Kroger or something one day, and just to take
get some video footage,
just to see it in action.
Yeah,
you know,
we should
and then
do that.
We'll even throw in the liquor bottle to see if what the frustration happens. You make a great point though, right? It's appreciated when the person working there actually cares about their job and is into the flow of the business, because too many times you're waiting for somebody go to scan something, you're ready to do it, and it won't scan check, or you don't have the tag.
I mean, I've done it too. Like, I've worked similar jobs like that, retail and food and stuff like that. The way I always approach it was there's a finite amount of people that are going to come through the doors, right? So the quicker you get them dealt with, the quicker they'll leave. You know what I'm saying?
And you know what? That is the absolute opposite. You know where, in case of what you're doing?
Lady Jane's,
it's coming
man.
the weekend.
This
might make you feel better, Neil. What am I talking about? You know what I'm talking about, guys. We like things simple, uncomplicated. Lady Jane haircuts for men. Yes, you walk in, you sign, and you sit down. Before you know it, you are handsome and clean. You'll be watching the TVs in front of the mirrors. You can check out the great job one of the ladies is doing for you as you're keeping up to your sporting news. Yes, open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Lady Jane's. It's wicked awesome. Big D Energy. Neil Rule, D-Mac on a Friday. Be right back with Woodward Sports Network.
Hi, my diamonds. It's Crystal with an X. You want to get hot and perfect like me? Here's my super easy routine. Drink at least a gallon of water before you wake up. Attach a weight to everything in your house. Hello? Sell your car and just sprint everywhere. Scream when you exhale.
Don't follow Crystal with an X. Do your own thing at Planet Fitness with tons of equipment and free fitness training in our clean and spacious clubs. Join now for just $10 a month and cancel anytime.
What's the over-under? Should I tease? Who is the lock of the night? Make sure you're watching Woodward Bets to get the latest in sports betting and more. Woodward Bets daily on Woodward Sports.
Back at it, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network here on a Friday. We're pushing towards the weekend. Luke Fedlam will join us coming up in about, 13, 14 minutes from now. He's a name, image, and likeness expert, so we will talk to him. How was Texas A&M able to pull this $30 million recruiting class coup off? What does Michigan have to do? How does he see this going? All that stuff. He's the expert at it, one of the best in the game, non-agent sports attorney, president of the Anomaly Sports Group as well. So we'll talk to him. We like to do that every now and then because I know there's a lot of Michigan fans out there that I think, under the surface, I think they want to know. They want to hear why. Why isn't Michigan jumping in the fray the way that some of these other schools are? So we'll talk about that with Luke, and I'm looking forward to having that discussion as
I think the
well.
key, the key is, and then I got a couple questions for him, is, okay, if they're doing it, why aren't we? As simple as that, or how do we get into it? Because, right, the one thing is to know somebody who knows all about this, but like you mentioned, Texas A&M solidified that recruit class. How do we do that?
How do you do it exactly?
If it's possible, and if it's through this NIL, because we all don't know about it.
Tev Sauce too. So Adam getting punched in the face by D-Mac is off the table. No, get it to 200 likes today. Call your friends, text your friends, tell them to like it. Get it to 200 likes, and Adam said he'll take a left hook from Darren McCarty. So it's up to you guys. If you guys want to see Adam get punched by D-Mac, then get it to 200. It's very simple.
I got a busy day today, so it won't be stationary. It'll actually be on the way out, so it'll have some momentum behind it. So that one actually hurts more.
Yeah, absolutely. Don't forget to follow Sawyer on Twitter. He's close to 100 followers. Give him the Twitter handle again, Sawyer.
At Binge Sawyer. At Binge Sawyer. So at BengeSawyer. Neil's been itching to see that racing setup. Bad.
I do want to see your steering wheel and gas. I'm intrigued with the gas pedal for a video game.
Oh, I mean, it's just a gas pedal, brake pedal, and then there's a clutch next to it. And it has a cord that plugs into the pedal. It's pretty basic gas pedal, but yeah, I'll even throw in the whole PC setup in the background too, so you can get a full understanding of what really goes into it.
There you go. That's what the people want to see. Big D Energy live here from the Planet Fitness Studios. Our YouTube poll up right now. What frustrates you more, the weather or the roads? Roads dominating right now at 81%. And look, don't get me wrong, they bother me too. They kind of go hand in hand though. I think when we break it all down. Charles McLean says Michigan is too honest to do something like that, but Michigan just signed a good name, image, and likeness contract.
What? Did I hear honest? Did you say too honest?
It's not illegal.
No, take that word out of there. Get that word out of there. We don't honest or what.
I think Michigan has proven a couple of times that they're not the most honest.
Don't just take that out of there for whatever.
Right.
You don't not use the word honest with anything that any of these college teams, especially with history. That's brutal.
Rich Diana says Sawyer is the man. I agree. Sawyer is great. Amon-Ra St. Brown in the news. He had some words about the Detroit Lions, about what he thinks the Detroit Lions, the direction that they're going to go, how it's all going to go down. And, he's saying the right things, and most importantly, D-Mac, he's doing the right things on the field. And the only thing I'm worried about, and Amon-Ra's quote was, I don't really believe anything to say. I don't really have anything to say about the people who may feel like my rookie season was a fluke. All I can do is try to prove them wrong. And he is saying all the right things, and I think he believes all the right things, and he is hungry. There is no doubt. I just hope that we temper expectations going forward for Amon-Ra St. Brown. And look, I have celebrated him. He's been the one. He's been kind of the cornerstone of my whole draft class last year because, again, my favorite stat isn't the catches or the touchdowns or anything. It's that his entire rookie contract is less money than Kenny Golladay will make next September. That's how you change a franchise. That's how you become a competitive franchise and compete to win in the NFL, by making moves like that. More of those, please. But with all that being said, D-Mac, there was a lot of success, and he was great. Just everybody just kind of pump the brakes a little bit, man. This isn't Randy Moss here, all right?
Right, but it's a different receiver, right? Where's Amon-Ra St?
Yeah, this isn't Marvin Harrison.
If this team is great, or this team is going to make that next step to not only get in the playoffs but to win, St. Brown's got to be your number 2 guy. He's not a number 1 guy, so forget it. Think you got if it's hockey, you locked up your second line centerman, right? Where expectations, possession, volume of catches, needing those yards. The Edelman, the Amendola guys. He's your Cooper Kupp-ish guy that I would see volume from. But if you can bring in somebody who is your number 1, like you said, a Randy Moss, like different guys like that, you build on top. So the fact that the contract's there, and also what I like about the kid, he was talking about growing up in LA and stuff like this, and how he loves the fan base here and sees how passionate it is. And here's a kid that grew up in LA going, we don't have LA fans aren't like this, no matter where it is, right? So he
the Detroit Rams
that,
have more fans than the LA Rams.
And here's the thing, he puts the work in, right? And not get afraid to get better. And I think they know what they have there, but it's just allowing him to be the best Amon-Ra St. Brown that he can be, right? He's not Randy Moss. He's not Calvin. He's not anybody else. He's him, and work off those guys that I talked about.
Joey 2 times on our YouTube chat thread says, Amon-Ra, how about Amon-Roar? Am I right? Closes chat. Joey, please step away from the computer, please. Please do. Everybody, just take a 10-minute timeout.
Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Yeah, just take a 10-minute timeout, my friend, okay? Charles McLean says...
Go refill the gypsy, Joey.
We have something, too, from one of the listeners for the Gypsy Read today. We're fired up about it. Charles McLean says, St. Brown didn't break out, though, till Johnson and Campbell took over the play calling and when Scotty Reynolds came on board. And all those are true. All those factors are true. And it is exciting. It is. I hope it doesn't get like that where next year... And I got to be careful when I use the phrase, if he takes a step back statistically next year, where people say, because there is, and somebody asked who has been saying that, and there is some chatter about that it was a fluke season, given the injuries to the wide receiver, they didn't have a choice, somebody had to catch the passes and stuff like that. But we saw, even when he was keyed on by defenses, we still saw him be productive. That's all I'm asking for, man.
Well, here's the thing, you have a number 2 guy, right, that you don't have to key on. You can key on other things, but then when he needs to be the number 1, what did we just see in the Super Bowl? Right? What did we just see when it came down to crunch time? Right? You got Robert Woods out, and whether you want to say Cooper Kupp and Odell's out or whatever, but Cooper Kupp had to be the number 1 guy. He had to be the go-to guy. Do I think Amon-Ra St. Brown has the same characteristics and stuff to be able to be that guy if needed like Cooper Kupp was? I do. Because, to hog the ball. But that's the beauty of it. You can... Whether it's 1 week where you're not keying on him or 1 half you're not keying on him, but then you can throw volume his way and he'll be ready to do it. I like the way that he approaches the game. I like the work he puts in. I like everything to hear about it. So if he gets the ball thrown his way, he will make the plays. You see the way that separation off the line, the different moves, different stuff like that. I think that what really happened last year, Neil, with the other wide receivers going down, is that it allowed for his development to go quicker, right? And for us to really see, okay, here's the diamond in the rough. But I think these guys are smart, and the coaching staff's smart. Obviously, Ben Johnson, who's just hired, given the raise of offensive coordinator, used him a lot. There's familiarity there from late in the season and everything that's done. So, to me, I'm not really worried about it.
Yeah,
I'm more interested to see who they bring in to complement him.
And that's what Grom at 0237 says. You need to stretch the field guy. Yes, you do. And again, that goes back to my point, my overriding point about this whole organization is, and I don't think we realize it, just the lack of talent across the board. There is. I know there's guys with big contracts, but I'm talking about a lack of talent across the board. And I know, and we'll probably get into it.
And it doesn't matter, right? Because I see the argument about coaching or talent. If you do not have talent, it doesn't matter how great of a coach you are. You can't. So you need to start with talent, then you need to have the coaching.
Sure. And again, you know, and we have a little bit more Lions stuff to get to a little bit later on. There's some free agent talks going on. Who should the Lions target in free agency? And you know where I am with it. I'm kind of a tap the brakes on that because we're not all the way through the process yet. You know, for me, it's more you need to do a financial cleanse of this roster and the cap situation. But, you know, the timing of things might render itself an opportunity, and we'll discuss that a little bit later on in the show. But, yeah, I mean, it was interesting to see the Amon-Ra St. Brown talk. And, again, for me, it's just he was great last year. He was great. Way more than exceeded expectations. If anything, when you look at the totality of his contract, he's already performed the value of his contract just based on what he did last year. If you really want to get analytical and get geeky about it,
if you want to get sick, go back and see how many people he's outperformed that you could add up to see the production that he had last year. So as a fourth rounder, yes, but now
for $800,000.
Now, but what he's done is he's put himself in a position to succeed. That's what you want. You want a guy like this coming out every draft. The successful teams always do this. They always draft well and at least hit on one guy big. And then the rest of it, Neil, as we always say, because you look at the stats of Brad Holmes' draft class last year, getting in NFL action.
With numbers next to their names.
With numbers.
In the box score.
Huge.
It's crazy.
So a lot of times you don't, if you can get the one Amon-Ra St. Brown to pop, but you have solid players that you know what are all about on the rest of the team with the ability to develop. You know, we're getting conversation about Cephas. You look at, you look at the development of guys like on the back end too. Ozarike, Awarrier, like different guys like that. So it's time for the talent, like you said, to step up. But you nailed it too, Neil, right? That allows you to do that when you're financially and your draft capital is all set, right? Going into it. And that's what I will ask you is going into the draft and everything this year, do you like where everything's at? Not only your draft position, but where your cap's at? Because that allows you to make moves too.
Right, and that's again, that's the flexibility, but also that's the luxury too of needing so much. Right, because your offensive line is set. That's it. The rest of it is all open for debate. What'd you have, Flannel Sam?
Oh, just to go back to Amon-Ra St. Brown, I think one of the things that's exciting about him is that his three best games, you could argue, were in the 3 Lions wins. He had a receiving touchdown in all of them, and you can almost, maybe it's correlation or causation, but his emergence and the Lions playing good football came at about the exact same time. His last 6 games were incredible.
And that's where it is, with Amon-Ra St. Brown, because, again, just the value. You know where I am with this, guys. It's not a secret. We need 4 more of those guys that are such a discount to market. That's how you're going to win.
Yeah, and that's what we're talking about, building championship teams.
Yep. I mean, every championship team, like as much as the Rams were quote-unquote a super team or the Bucks were quote-unquote a super team, the Bucks are a super team with Ndamukong Suh at $3 million and Tom Brady at $24 million. And I know you all hate him, but Antonio Brown at $3 million. For real. Like if you could have Antonio Brown on your team for $3 million, would you, just given his production, you would take it.
It explains how you can stockpile all this great talent. It's because it gets through that contract, gets the end of the career, and they want to win.
Yeah, Mike G. Neil's Macomb mansion was built on draft capital as well as 2 furnaces. I wouldn't call it a mansion. I would call it a palatial estate. Is that fair?
Palatial estate.
No, there's no gates or anything to get in there. Gromit says sign Marcus Williams to start. Hey, we're going to talk about that in just a little bit, so make sure you stick around for that discussion. I'm also going to tell you about Cintron World. It's an aspirational lifestyle beverage brand with a line of sparkling flavored energy beverages. premium bottled water, and revitalizer shots. Cintron, the official energy drink of the Detroit Red Wings, proud partners with the Pistons and exclusively served at Little Caesars Arena. You probably saw their ad behind the goal during the Red Wings game on the boards down at LCA. If you're looking for premium ingredients, long-lasting energy, balanced hydration, essential vitamins, and great taste, Cintron is your top choice. Buy online at CintronWorld.com with the promo code RedWings10. Save 10% with shipping included. Drink it, live it with Cintron.
Everything that we've hoped for, finally.
He's going deep, right side. Oh, that is Edwards out there. He goes up in the air at the goal line.
Hey, it's Brandon Edwards here, wanting to welcome the sports marketing agency to Woodward Sports Network, to the family. Glad to have you guys. For the last decade, the sports marketing agency has literally leveraged athletes around issues such as mental health and substance abuse.
It's all happening now.
Your Detroit alternative to the normal sports blah, blah, blah. It's Woodward Sports.
Back at it, Big D Energy right here on the Woodward Sports Network on Radio 293.5, The Roar 94.7, HD2 99.1 FM, the YouTube channel, social media, all over the place, live from the Planet Fitness Studios. And right now, as promised, we welcome in Luke Fedlam. He's a name, image, and likeness expert, a non-agent sports attorney, president of the Anomaly Sports Group, and a partner and chair of the sports law practice firm at Porter Wright Law Firm. And Luke, we appreciate you taking some time here today. This thing has, I guess, Luke, we'll start at the beginning, where we were told that this name, image, and likeness thing was going to destroy college sports. It was the end of the world as we knew it. But lo and behold, Luke, we're still here. We're still standing. Football played. They had a whole season. College basketball is getting ready to roll. I guess it wasn't the doom and gloom that everybody thought it was it?
Yeah, Neil, you're absolutely right. First, thanks for having me, guys. I really appreciate it. And you're right. And listen, the world is still rotating on its axis. We're still here. Sports is still, being played. Yes, people thought that if you put money in the hands of student athletes, that for some reason that it would destroy the game. Well, guess what? The game is still being played. Student athletes are being compensated, and we're able to continue to move forward in this new world of name, image, and likeness.
Yeah, and it is. It's an interesting discussion on a lot of fronts. And I want to start, too, Luke, with you. There seems to be a lot of confusion on the university level, and I guess the compliance level. Even now, as we roll into March, and we've had this going for a while. In your opinion, why is there no uniformity by the NCAA? And I guess that's always been the hot-button topic because, essentially, this is me talking. This isn't Luke talking. This is me. The NCAA seemed like they just kind of punted on this whole name, image, and likeness thing and said, hey, you guys all figure this out on your own. Why do you think there's so much confusion at the university level?
There's so much confusion because the NCAA punted, just like you said. The NCAA had years and years to come up with some form of name, image, and likeness rules or ability for student athletes to earn compensation. And so they didn't do that. Now, when California in 2019 said, hey, we're going to pass this state law, then other states are going to follow suit. There's no way that any state, Michigan, an Ohio, Alabama, Texas, we're going to let one state, pay their student athletes and not allow, other states to do that. So we knew it was coming. But even still, the NCAA took their time, and we got to the point last summer where we had, or late last spring, where we had the NCAA versus Alston Supreme Court case. And in that case, the holding of that case, the Supreme Court unanimously, which we know the Supreme Court doesn't really do things unanimously these days, right? Unanimously said, NCAA, you don't have the authority that you thought you had to restrict student athletes and their ability to earn compensation. It was a case not about name, image, and likeness directly, but it was about education-related benefits. So then the court said, hey, if there's ever a case that comes back before us, this is the analysis that we're going to use. And if you have restrictions on student athletes in this way, you're going to lose NCAA. So the NCAA really had no choice but to punt at the last minute and say, schools, we can't come up with a plan. You're going to have to come up with your own.
We're talking here to Luke Fedlam. You can follow him at Luke Fedlam on Twitter and stuff. Thanks for joining us, Luke. Elephant in the room here in Michigan. Obviously, we've seen across this country different programs. Texas A&M, boom, recruiting class, dropping money like it's hot. and stuff like this. Let's bring it to University of Michigan. Why are we supposed to be the leaders and the best and in front of this stuff? Why are we not into it? Is it as simple because, well, you haven't had a head coach until last week or 2 weeks ago, and it's not a priority? But, like, would this not be a thing that you would think that the University of Michigan would be right at the top of?
Well, I think we have to put things into context. And part of the context is we're only 8 months, 9 months into this, right? This really like 8 months. Name, image, and likeness is new. Schools are trying to figure out. Now, we know, and I'm not going to call out any names, we know that there are some schools in certain parts of the country that kind of play a little fast and loose even before name, image, and likeness became a thing. And now it's like, okay, other schools are trying to say, how do we do this the right way? How do we make sure that we're not, in any way violating any types of potential rules or setting ourselves up for any potential lawsuits? Some schools have gotten, involved right away when it comes to NIL. We've started to see across the country different things called NIL collectives start to pop up. Those are these funds or groups that are created by alumni, donors, fans of the university to try to create these name, image, and likeness opportunities for student athletes. So I think that we're going to start to see at all the major programs, including Michigan, we're going to see more focus on NIL as we go in, because don't forget, it only became allowable July 1st of last year, right before, football season even started. And so I think we're going to start to see in this offseason more and more schools have a more focused effort on how to help support their student athletes in NIL.
So what I'm hearing, in your opinion, it's because some universities are actually doing their due diligence and to make sure that they don't do something fast and loose, so to speak, so that can come back to haunt them. Is that pretty much what I'm hearing?
Absolutely, because think about this. We're talking about the opportunity for student athletes to put thousands, tens of thousands, and in some cases hundreds of thousands of dollars in their pocket. And so the school is really trying to make sure there are some schools that are really doing their due diligence to make sure that they have the process in place, the programs in place to educate their student athletes, to make sure that they're not getting taken advantage of, and to make sure that that alumni, donors, boosters aren't getting involved in negative ways when it comes to NIL. Because let's not forget, here's the thing. Student athletes can get paid, but to be very clear, they have to provide a service. So it can't just be, hey, I paid the student athlete X number of dollars because I want them to go to this school. It has to be, hey, we're paying this student athlete this amount of money to provide us social media influencing, to come out and do appearances at our venue or at our location. They have to provide a service for it to be a legitimate NIL deal.
Joined by Luke Fedlam here, name, image, and likeness expert, and happy to have him here on Big D Energy, also a sports law attorney at Porter Wright. But Luke, what about that? Because my understanding, and this is a non-legal guy here. I'm as much non-legal as it gets. That's why I talk to experts like you, that are going to be the next Darren Ravel of name, image, and likeness here in the sports media world. But Luke, for me, here's my understanding. This is just a baseline to kind of break it down for everybody, because I saw here on our YouTube chat thread, one of the listeners, Flintstone, said, whatever Texas A&M did, that's what I want Michigan to do. I like the results. My understanding is, and this is just a baseline explanation of it, Texas A&M has a group of donors that, in effect, created almost shell-like companies that would sign recruits to do, as you talked about, social media promoting of these companies and those types of things. I mean, we can say that, Luke, and it's cute and it's fun to say, well, they actually have to provide a service, but let's be real about it, Luke. We know what road this is going to end up going down, because it happened before, and now it's a little more in the open, but the exact same things are going to happen, are they not, Luke?
So you hit the nail on the head, right? Because ultimately we have to remember these things happened before, right? Let's not kid ourselves, right? That there were athletes that have been compensated and paid in the past. But here's the thing. Ultimately, what it comes down to is student athletes are going to have to provide a service. That has to be the cornerstone of what NIL is. And when we look at recent activities, the NCAA just last week announced that they're starting to do a study. They can't call it an investigation, but they're doing a study on how name, image, and likeness is affecting the recruiting world, the transfer world, because don't forget about the transfer portal and the impact of retaining your talent that plays, and also student athlete mental health and academics, right? So I think that there's this is an entirely brave new world. We didn't even say the word NIL collective, right, or fund of donors, 9 months ago, 10 months ago. This is all brand new. So the NCAA is trying to figure out how can we still play a role in making sure that NIL isn't used for situations like shell companies for fraudulent type of engagements, or which really translate to inducements, of student athletes to go to a particular institution.
Yeah, when you boil it all down, that's what it sounded like to me. Again, I'm not a legal guy. I have no understanding. Again, these are my words, not Luke's. But hey, I'm just going to tell you what I think. As we look at that too, you can't call it an investigation. That's probably my favorite fun with words that the NCAA is doing. But no, Luke, we certainly do appreciate your time here. How do you see this playing out? What's the future of this? In that, as you look down the road, and you said it, the NCAA seems to be kicking the tires, or maybe they're just kicking the can down the road. I don't know, and buying time till the next television rights deal comes up or anything like that. Do you see a time when the NCAA steps in and says, "Hey, look, this is the Wild West. We got to have some uniformity." And I know it's tough for them, and I'll cut them some slack here. It's tough for them when you're talking about different states with different laws and everything like that. There's so many different moving parts to it. But do you foresee a day where the NCAA steps in and kind of creates some uniformity?
Honestly, I really don't. I think the NCAA is going to be able to play on the fringes of this, right? Of making clear some requirements or restrictions that impact, just what we talked about, potential fraudulent inducements or certain little kind of minor requirements. What it's really going to take for a national standard is going to be Congress to step in. Now, as we know, Congress right now is dealing with Russia and the Ukraine. They're dealing with infrastructure in the U.S. and all these other things that, compensating student athletes doesn't really rise to the top of their legislative agenda. But what I will say, though, is I think that's okay for this NIL space. I think there needs to be this moment, this period of time over the next few years of a complete, kind of free, we could call it Wild Wild West, or we could call it, free market, whatever it is, because that's what creates the innovation and the creativity and the ways of looking at this. For the first time in 70 years, student athletes can earn compensation off of their name, image, and likeness. So let's see what this looks like. Here's an example. Last year, if we look 8-9 months back, 10 months ago, there were no schools talking about student athletes being able to use the logos and the marks, right, of the institution itself. Once one school started and said, you know what, we're going to let our student athletes do that when it comes to NIL deals, other schools started following suit, right? I mean, even at Michigan, right, student athletes can opt in to have their name on the back of a jersey that fans can buy. So ultimately, this innovation creates that opportunity. So I think we need a period of time for that. But eventually, I think we're going to see a national standard.
Real quick, Luke, do you see the transfer portal and NIL? My big question is that, with guys coming into their senior years or stuff like this, being able to use the transfer portals, will you see universities use this with NIL together to probably maybe get that quarterback that they want?
Like an ultimate free agency type situation?
Free agency. That's how I sort of see it, for sort of like the hired gun for some of these guys. Who comes to mind? Like the Johnny Manziels, the Joe Burrows, the guys who have moved from different universities on and have been successful. Is this something that we keep an eye on that doesn't happen tomorrow, but maybe down the road there could be legs to it?
Guys, yes, absolutely. Not forget tomorrow. I think it's to some degree kind of happening, right? I mean, we now have this opportunity through the transfer portal where student athletes can transfer schools and have that exemption to be able to not worry about having to sit out and can play right away. So if we look at one of the probably hottest quarterbacks in college football, Caleb Williams, right? He transferred from Oklahoma, entered the transfer portal to go with Lincoln Riley out to USC, and it started signing deals, and there were a lot of deals out in LA for him. So that we're seeing that. I think we're going to continue to see that even more. But that's where the NCAA, I think, plays a bit of a role in terms of monitoring that. So it's not just a true, free agency type of environment for student athletes at the college level.
Well, Luke, we certainly do appreciate your time this morning. One of the up-and-comers in sports media as well in the name, image, and likeness. There's going to be a lot of people asking for your services and your input and everything like that. Appreciate you taking some time here today on Big D Energy. Appreciate it, man.
Thanks a lot, Luke.
Hey, Neil, Darren, thank you guys so much.
Absolutely. That was Luke Fedlam, an NIL expert. You can follow him on Twitter, and I would recommend you do so because this is going to be on and popping. This thing is never going to stop. He's a non-agent sports law attorney with the Porter Wright Law Firm as well. Big thanks to Annie H. Hoffman for hooking that one up for us. But, and there is some kind of... it's a lot of people have a lot of questions. Certainly, Honolulu Blue Sparty asked if the transfer portal will allow you to play right away permanently, or will it go back to normal? It ain't never going back to normal. Never, ever. This is normal.
Never,
now.
ever? Never,
it's
never.
not. It's never,
never,
never, ever,
never, ever.
No,
Ever.
it's certainly not going to happen. But I know what is going to happen if you're in the home security market right now.
Well, here's the one thing: if you're in the home security, or if you're involved in NIL, and obviously you want to get a Guardian Alarm, your local security experts. Why? Because Guardian Alarm, they get it, whether it's home, business, university, whatever bag you need protected, Guardian Alarm can do this. All with 24/7 monitoring. Yes, you can control the lights, you control the temperatures. House catches on fire, smoke alarm, you'll be detected, or that silent killer while you sleep, carbon monoxide. So if you want to be part of the Woodward Sports Network, Big D Energy family, you can, but I need you to call, and it's a Friday. So I'm going to give you the number here, the boys. You ready? 1-800
Stay out.
That's 1-800
Stay out.
For everybody on the other side of Woodward, that's 1-800
Stay out. Get out of my house.
Sam, consistently all week, 5 for 5 with the flannels. I mean, Guardian Alarm is protecting his stuff. They can protect yours too. Give them a call. 1-800 Stay out today. Let them know Woodward Sports sent you. Guardian Alarm, your local security experts. Big D Energy. Sam Flannel, Sawyer, Neil Rule, D-Mac. We will be right back. Woodward Sports Network.
Hi, I'm Cade, Cunningham. I'm proud to partner with Hall Financial, the mortgage company known for 5-star service. Don't just take my word for it. Check out their 5,000 5-star reviews for yourself. Go to callhallfirst.com and get started with your 5-star experience today.
You don't have to go to the beach, man. You don't have to get your butt crack full of sand. You just need a little chili peppers, man, to get that glowing beach chili peppers tan. Woo!
With 26 locations in the Metro Detroit area and more coming, Chili Peppers Tanning is where you'll find the cleanest salons in the D. Join the Pepper Club for the best deals on unlimited tanning. Head to chilipepperstanning.com.
You just need a little chili peppers, man.
Woodward Sports. This part of the show today? Watch again on YouTube or download the podcast anywhere you listen to podcasts.
Back at it, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network. Neil Rule, D-Mac, Darren McCarty, and a big thank you to Luke Fedlam for joining the show. We'll get him back on, certainly, as time rolls on into the draft, college football season, all that. You guys keep an eye on him, man. That is the next up-and-comer in sports media, and certainly in that name, image, and likeness space. And a lot of you liked it. Flintstone on our YouTube chat thread. Thanks for the name, image, and likeness expert. Gator Raider says, great interview as well. And, I love the way he said it because both things are true. He said some people call it the Wild Wild West. Other people call it a free market. That's exactly what it is. It's both of those things.
You know what I loved about Luke, and it'll be interesting as this plays out or whatever, is pretty much in the last, it's here. It's here. And
every question we ask, he's like, no, that's going on.
The teams, right? And he didn't say it, but if you're wondering which teams aren't afraid or maybe would fuddle in the mud a little bit before, well, it's the teams that aren't afraid to get out ahead of this.
Well, see,
right?
here's the deal, D-Mac.
To me, this is more transparent to the fact of who's most comfortable dealing in these waters of boosters and whatever. Well, you don't make that transition that he's saying where universities have to look to this and that unless you know sort of the way the game's played. If I say Texas A&M and USC, right? USC brings me back to Pete Carroll, brings me back to Reggie Bush losing his Heisman. Okay. Smoke. All right. So they're ahead of this game. They've been either waiting for it or whatever. And what Luke just, he lays it out there as the fact is that it's here. If pretty much what I understood is that they're using it in places all over, and the universities that want to see this and use this as sort of a tool to advance and to bring kids in, they're going to be able to. And I always love to hear, well, it could change, but Congress has got to get, wait a sec, they got to few other things they're worried about right now, right? So this will be interesting until then.
And here's the deal, too, and I would ask this to Michigan fans, because one of the big hang-ups I keep hearing about is what Luke talked about, the use of the logo, the use of the brand, to where certain schools, they don't care. Use whatever. What's going to get you to come to school here and play football
shows you
for
what,
us?
right? They don't care. Shows you what level. Looking to see, hey, this kid can get us more. Like when you're talking about all these boosters coming together in these companies and shell companies and using. Well, does it make sense to use these young kids to promote these companies? Because maybe some of these young kids have more eyes on them, or know how to get the eyes on them. So that's the thing too.
And Grom at 0237 says, ain't capitalism glorious? Well, and I would say this, like, you can like it or not like it, but nobody had a problem with it when it was the coaches doing it. You know what I'm saying? Now all of a sudden that the players are doing the exact same thing the coaches were. Players had to wear the shoes of the shoe company that the coaches signed deals with, where they got paid. Players had to wear those shoes.
Yeah, well that's the thing, and I guess what you'll find is more of a 75-25. When you have the brand, like say the Michigan M and you got the Jumpman or whatever like this, you're going to work with some of your stars, but you're going to make sure that they get a little, you get the more of it. When you're at a lesser, you're at Coastal Carolina or something like this, well, you want your star to have everything about Coastal Carolina because you're not going to get the hype nationally.
Yeah, and that's really where it is, and that's my question to the Michigan fans. And D-Mac, what have I said from when we did a show last week?
Where's my bag?
Last college football. Well, after I said, where's the bag? After that, I did. This is something where we've talked about Michigan football forever, D-Mac, back when we were together at ESPN Radio in Detroit, 7 years ago. Whenever I talked about Michigan, my main thing was, especially in football, is that they're not on board as a community the way that Ohio State is, the way that Alabama is, the way that Texas A&M is. They're not.
Well, and honestly, goes back to the honestly comment for something like this.
But see, and that's my thing. Like, you can't be above it now.
To fit the narrative.
You can't be above it.
They're giant. But no, not if you want to be successful. You got to get in, or you're in the way, and you're trying to do it your own way. That really doesn't work. Or that's fine. Hey, I see how it's done, but let me try to do it this way. My whole thing with the due diligence and stuff is so that things are ironed out and haven't missed things that have been missed in the past. And I know we're dealing with different departments and different things, but again, as long as you iron it out. What I'd be happy with is if we hear coming out, in the next month, 2 months before the season, that there are rumblings that Michigan is in talks and doing different things like that they're looking into it, that they're doing that. They're always going to do it the Michigan way, right? That's, I think, that to the point of what you're saying. It's always been the Michigan way. And the Michigan way has been different than the teams that have been successful. Can we not agree with that?
Sure.
Okay, so maybe the Michigan way doesn't work. It's right. That's what we're saying. To me, when they're not all on board, it's not on. It's we want to win, but we want to do it our way.
Yeah, and right now, and look, this is the bottom line. This is what I'm driving at here. And Tammy Chin says students are getting car dealership name, image, and likeness deals, and yes, they are, and it's fine. And Michigan athletes are getting name, image, and likeness deals, but the university prohibits them from using the Block M.
Right. And again, I think you will see that more so, but it's if I say with the institutions, right? Does that make sense?
Well, and Flintstone says, nice discussion, Neil, but I don't care about a logo. What's the harm in using the Block M? That's the rub right there, is they want to be in control of it. And that's where it is.
Way.
And this is, look,
right?
this
that's
isn't
the Michigan way.
This isn't me hating. No. This is just simply sitting here stating a fact. Do you think it's more advantageous if you're a recruit and look, 5 stars wash out all the time. There are a lot of 5 stars that don't end up playing a down in the NFL or getting drafted or playing a second of professional football. Happens all the time. Some of these people, this is their only crack. It's going to turn out to be their only crack to cash in. And you tell me, if Georgia says you go use our logo, do whatever you want to do, or Alabama says that, where are you more apt to go if you're a 5-star? Where are you going to go?
Where you can use the logo, because where you can use the logo for the rest of your life.
To get the most
money. But here's the whole thing:
where
you're going to put affiliation, where you might be a 5-star or whatever, but it's the whole thing is that when you're trying to grind and get something out of it, this might be your only opportunity to get sort of paid. You never know, injuries happen. And especially, we're talking about football here. This goes to all the other sports. The big thing to me is that brand recognition, if you don't throughout your life or your career, right? That you're a Georgia, you're an Alabama guy, you're a Michigan guy. That, what I look to this is how positively can this help these kids get into the real world a little bit earlier. And it's not about jobs, it's just understanding, right?
How
your
it works,
motivation.
how it all works.
Right, how it all works instead of in this bubble. And I think that that there's an opportunity to develop, young men in a positive way and give them some money, and so that, that they can enjoy it also. So again, all these things that'll play out, but the teams that know their way around, right? Sort of something like this, you're going to have to follow. So I pay attention to the A&Ms and the USCs and see how they're doing it. And because
they're at the forefront.
Right, exactly. And my thing is there conversation? Is there serious conversation? I'd like to hear that. And I just don't. I think the frustrating part is that it doesn't even seem like we hear about it. Now, we know Mel Tucker's all about the portal, right, to everything else. We know that with the
Ishbia on board.
And the backers and stuff like this, it can come down to coaches and stuff like this. But that program, that they're all in on it, right? The other one, I just don't hear anything.
And that's concerning.
That's the concerning
And that's my
part.
question
Just
to the Michigan
tell me
fans.
something. Tell me that you're not, or whatever, you're going to continue to do it the Michigan way.
Rob 1212-4D says, I just hope it doesn't push all high-end players towards specific places because they have bigger name, image, and likeness deals. And are we going to have name, image, and likeness cap similar to the salary cap? No, because you'd have to have labor unions, and you can't limit someone's income with no representation.
I think the telling thing was when the Supreme Court unanimously voted that NCAA, you got no say in this. That's what cracked the whole thing, right? That opened up a whole new flood lines that hadn't been opened, right? The people have been crossing that border illegally in the past, and now they just open the border.
And you got two choices, and that's my question to Michigan fans.
In the way?
Yeah, you got two choices, man. You can either jump in the water or you can get left behind. That's the way it's going to work out. That's it. And this isn't about hatred, or this isn't about being a hater or anything like that. And I think deep down, Michigan fans know that. I think they do. I really think that they do know that. And look, I'll bring these guys on every week, every show, and they can tell you how it's going on in the real world right now, because you're either with it or you're going to get left behind. You saw Texas A&M do it with a couple strokes of a pen. Boom, they were in there, and they're a factor right now. And I know somebody said, well, they lost 4 games last year. Yeah, who'd they beat?
They beat Alabama. Yeah, they beat the big dog.
They look like they're ready to roll, man.
No, they But what does that one win do? Look what it did, right?
Absolutely.
Looking to say that if we throw a couple dollars here, we get a couple guys. We may be a lot better, and they will be.
Absolutely. You know what else is a win? Gypsy Vodka is a win. 50 different formulas, countless taste tests. Gypsy Vodka, the smoothest, best-tasting vodka on the market. They got a cool bottle, and I know you guys are all starting to tap in. Dom Rivera sent us this tweet yesterday. Finally tried some of that old Gypsy Vodka, supporting the local brands of Michigan. That Gypsy Vodka, the Neil Rule radio voice, asked for it by name. So, appreciate you, Dom, tapping in and report back and tell me that stuff ain't the truth, man. Go ahead and tell me, because you know that it is. Sawyer knows that it is. It's the official hookup for his Bloody Mary. Saturday evening, I'll be jumping in that Gypsy Vodka with the soda and a couple of lines. It's gluten-free. It's corn distilled 6 times. Uses artesian spring water. Support local guys, as we said, from the state of Michigan. Proudly made in Petoskey. Get a bottle. Ask for it by name. It's Gypsy Vodka. As always, drink responsibly.
Hi, my diamonds. It's Crystal with an X. You want to get hot and perfect like me? Here's my super easy routine. Drink at least a gallon of water before you wake up. Attach a weight to everything in your house. Hello? Sell your car and just sprint everywhere. Scream when you exhale.
Don't follow Crystal with an X. Do your own thing at Planet Fitness with tons of equipment and free fitness training in our clean and spacious clubs. Join now for just $10 a month and cancel anytime.
Fellas, let's be honest. We like things to be easy. We like simple stuff, like sports 7 days a week. We like things uncomplicated, like Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Sign in, sit down, watch your favorite team play, and before you know it, your hair will be game ready. Open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome.
Follow us everywhere. Just search Woodward Sports on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, IG, and more.
Pulling up on the second hour of the show. Show flying by here on a Friday, as it usually does. Appreciate you guys all tapping in all the comments. And by the way, too, thanks for the pictures of you guys out trying the Gypsy Vodka, of you guys out pumping the mystery beer machine full of $2, doing Sawyer proud, pulling Natter Days and whatnot out of there. So, anytime you guys do that, man, if you're out and about, you're in the show, and you're looking at a product that's, they support Woodward Sports Network, let me know. I'll put it on there. I'll put it on there on the commercials. I don't care. Like, I appreciate you guys doing that, for real. That's big of you. And, again, these are all products, man. When I tell you about Planet Fitness, when I tell you about Gypsy Vodka, I work out at Planet Fitness. I drink Gypsy Vodka. I got bottles of it in the cat. Like, I do these things. I'm not gonna, I'm not just up here talking about it. You know what I'm saying?
It's who.
Yeah, absolutely. So it is all for real. I do believe it tastes good. That's why I tell you that. I don't do it because they give me the piece of paper. Gypsy Vodka tastes good. I like working out at Planet Fitness. That's it. I mean, it's as real as it gets.
Did you run into Crystal with an X, Planet Fitness?
What's that?
Did you see Crystal with an X at Planet Fitness?
No, I did not.
Okay.
All right.
Mike G says Crystal with an X is straight up local, Holmes. It's the commercial girl.
Oh, okay. I got you. Yeah, so a lot of reaction. Gromit says, too many snooty Karens in Ann Arbor. Sorry that it's true. Bear Moore says, probably down the road there will be rules and regulations. I don't see how you do that unless you have a student-athlete union or a players' union, I guess you could say. Right, D-Mac?
I heard Congress. I heard Congress
right? Like, that's it. Like, this is real.
The whole thing. And here's the thing: is that you would hope with this, it's the sort of the Wild West, is that these teams will figure it out, and everybody else will figure out. I like to use the word the flow, right? Figure out what the flow is. So, I think that what you're talking about is honestly would be like years down the line. Right? Years down the line, because you bring so many other things into effect that you don't think about.
Right. It's just, I like bringing this stuff up because it's real. And I think Michigan is as well. They have one of the most recognizable college logos in the world. In the world.
Yep. I could.
Like, what do you guys do? Is it important to you or not?
Right. And it's maybe that's the whole thing. What would you say, right, if it came out through this NIL that Michigan started allowing their players to use that as that?
I would say finally it looks like they're getting on board over there.
So it looks like they might be moving into the 2022 or whatever what everybody else is doing, correct?
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, it is. It's just that simple.
Operating differently.
Because they're doing it down there. And they're going to continue to do it. And you're either on board or you're not.
And you brought up a great point. You have something that is known worldwide. So why not only enhance it?
Yeah.
By getting it out there more.
Dom Rivera reports back, Gypsy Vodka's the truth. I'll be back. So, see, there you go. We converted one. We converted Sawyer. We'll on there. Mike G, who would land the name, image, and likeness hash bash deal in Ann Arbor? See, that's what I'm talking about. See?
Me.
Mike gets it.
It's my birthday. That's mine, but I'll bring some of the kids, whatever you want.
I'm Darren McCarty, and I'm JJ McCarthy.
That's it. There you go.
Here for the hash bash
he used
in
to
Ann
be
Arbor.
McCarty, but he's the sponsor of the hash bash, and so he got an H. I don't know.
That would work well. I know you guys. I saw you guys, and I'm always keeping an eye on the YouTube chat thread and what's going on and all that stuff. And I saw you guys talking, and it's almost like you knew what we had on the show sheet here today. Marcus Williams, that name keeps getting talked about in the NFL circles, expected to be targeted by the Eagles, the Lions, and the Commanders if he makes it to the open market. He's going to play arena football? Oh, no, the Commanders. That's the Washington football team. That's right.
Now, is he would you say now Marcus Williams, New Orleans Saints, has played, 5 years in the league?
Right around there.
Would he be the Kenny Golladay-ish guy of this free agent period when Kenny was up and then the Giants gave him the contract that they did? Is this sort of the same sort of situation that we're looking at, or what are we looking at? Do we first off agree Marcus Williams is a number one receiver?
Well, as far as the safeties, he it seems like he is trending towards being like a number one safety. It does
But
seem
is
like
that the guy you want to put your money in as at safety? Yeah, I said
yeah.
receiver.
Well, you know, it's for me because Spotrac is always my friend. They don't do business with Woodward, but I do business with them. I endorse them. It's my go-to for all this. They have him pegged right now as a market value of a 5-year, $75 million contract.
But that's a safety, right?
That is a safety.
Now, that's really expensive. And I compared to Galladay because I'm talking about like when you have a guy that is, and I know he's a receiver, but, you know, you look at the money that he's going to get elsewhere, right? You look, a lot of times these guys come up and the value, like you mentioned, the Commanders or some of the other teams on here is it looks better from afar. Now, is there anything to it because he's New Orleans, and is this something with the New Orleans connection, or are we over the New Orleans LA Rams connection between our coach and our GM? Is that beyond that, or does this have something to do with it?
I mean, I think that's part of an in. I think that gets you the conversation.
So hear me out.
Well, you know, D-Mac, it's a network game.
Right? The money-wise, and I see everybody talking about it, him wanting $15 million and whatever. We did that with $21 million. You got to restructure this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy. Okay, I get it. But is this a guy that is a foundation piece that can get you to the next level? Is he the guy, right? Just like I talk about at 32, 34, is that a quarterback being chosen? These are all the decisions to be made. And if decisions are made, direction sort of lets you know, right? So if they did this, Neil, and spent the money on the safety, would that not tell you almost more so they're going to draft that quarterback contract-wise in that round to keep the money down, right? There's an ebb and flow and a balance. If they don't use the money and sign this guy or a wide receiver or whoever and spend the money on it, right, then they're probably going to draft for it. So to me, does that make sense at all? Like, sign the great safety that you think is going to be there because you're going to draft your next quarterback. You don't sign the great safety, the wide receiver, whatever that marquee guy,
if you're going to trade for the quarterback.
Pay the quarterback in a couple years. Does this?
That's interesting.
Long way to get there, but does this play in, and does this give you think about that? Right? Because if we're talking about, I get it. I watched everybody break it down. 21 million, renegotiate. But guys, you don't understand is where you're at right now. You're building this foundation. If he is that piece, sort of like what they thought Sewell was, what they thought moving forward, because they know him a little bit more. That's the only question to me that is deeper than this.
Man, that is a great question. Every now and then, D-Mac, you come from the top rope.
I'll get it there, but it's all about but you got me there, right? Because it's draft capital and it's money and it's this. So how does this make sense of the money? When you look at it like people break it down, you can't pay this guy $15 million because you only got $21 million on the books and you have to do this and that. But devil's advocate, could you, but does this, so you sign him because you've played it out that you're going to go after one of these two quarterbacks that you think is going to be there, because there's your salary, there's your Amon-Ra St. Brown, there's another fourth rounder, you're a receiver, you got 2 and 3, then the next year you're going to pay that wide receiver. So you got your money and your safety, your wide receiver, and then your quarterback, right? Because you've built everything else on that team, your offense, your defense, whatever, through the draft and, you know, figured out. To your point, earlier conversation about Ndamukong Suh at $3 million or whatever, well, that's if you're a winning team, then you are able to afford those guys and look more like that team. Does that make sense?
No, absolutely, it makes sense. It's just like I'm doing some mental gymnastics right now with what you brought up.
Because when that was brought up, and I didn't even let you know, but that's where my mind went, is like, okay, how does this fit into the big piece? Because it doesn't matter how you're spending it's what you want. And what I'm looking for is that leadership.
And I would think too that would, if they were going to go down that road, that pretty much seals Trey Flowers' fate, because that's a $7 million cap saving parachute that you can pull.
But were we not there already?
Yeah, I mean, we were there. We were there already. But D-Mac, to what I talked about earlier, if you are going to kick the can down the road, you may as well keep him another
That's what
year.
I'm saying.
If
So
he
to my
plays
point,
well,
right.
he plays well. If he doesn't, you don't care anyway because you're not there yet. So, I mean, there is a lot. There's a lot of different ways they can go. But what you said about the quarterback, does that tip their hand with what they do in the draft? And you may be right on that because if you're going to bring in a safety at $15 million, but here's another. I'll give you another layer to this. YT Sparty says, just remember Pat Swilling we got from New Orleans. Past performance, no guarantee of future performance. YT Sparty, that was the Lions' fault. This was a dude that was just told, go get the quarterback his whole career. Just go get the quarterback. And he comes here, and they got him covering running backs out in the flat. I'll never forget that. I'm like, what's he doing going covering these running backs in the flat? No, go get the quarterback. Just go get the quarterback. Like, that's all he does. That was on the Lions, that one. So there's that. Again, my opinion, but I'm probably right. For me, it's another thing, too. I'll give you another layer to this. When you look at the safety position, and I think it's pretty apparent that when you look at Marcus Williams, we're all in agreement he seems to be a pretty good player. I think that's fair. I think that's a fair assessment. For me, this really, and there's a Kyle Hamilton contingent out there in the draft at number 2, and their contingent's getting more vocal and more vocal, and they're saying he's the best football player in the draft. Pound for pound, the dominance at his position, all of that. For me, I would have to say, because I would be more comfortable giving Marcus Williams that bag than I would be taking Kyle Hamilton, because why? Discount to market. The safety spot. If a safety is a $14 million proposition, I'm not taking him with the number 2 overall pick that I got to pay him $10 million a year, $9 million a year. You know what I'm saying? There's no discount there. There's no incentive. And not know what he is.
I'll
pay the tax on a guy like Marcus Williams because I know what he is.
Yes.
I know what he is. So I'll pay that tax on that. I don't have a huge problem with that. So these are layers. This is a good discussion, man. I want to talk about this when we come back to the show here on Big D Energy. But first, let me tell you about mybookie.ag. And we're talking NFL draft. You can bet on the NFL draft if you're like that. I mean, it's not my thing, but hey, you do you, and you can do you at mybookie.ag. They'll double your first deposit all the way up to $1,000 with the promo code Woodward. Tap in, you're lined up. You got a little bit of extra juice there, a little bit of extra gas in the tank, if you will, to get down on all that sports action you want to. The Masters coming up. Baseball will start someday, I guess. We don't know when, but maybe someday it will. Golf, NASCAR. If you want to, step up to the crap table and roll the dice on the biggest race of the year, even though it's just a crapshoot and they don't protect the good drivers, then go ahead and do that too. Some more secure NASCAR races where skills actually involved are coming up on the schedule. I'm just saying. But you can do it all at mybookie.ag. Basketball's getting into the mix right now. Hockey, NHL. Colorado Avalanche looking pretty good for those Stanley Cup futures. You can do it all. mybookie.ag. Best part of it, they'll double your first deposit up to $1,000 with the promo code Woodward. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie. Have a problem with gambling? Get your life in order. Call the Michigan Problem Gambling Helpline, 1-800-270-7117.
It took exploring 50 different formulas and hosting countless taste tests, but we believe Gypsy Vodka is the smoothest vodka on the market. Don't believe us? Ask the owners.
We're Mike and Adam Kazanowski with High Five Spirits Distillery. We're in close to about 1,200 locations throughout Michigan. We wanted to create a brand that was geared more towards freedom, love, adventure, and at the end of the day, we really wanted to tell a story that inspired other people to take risks, follow their dreams, whatever that might be.
Comerica Park, sunshine, the crack of the bat. More sunshine, warmth. We're almost there, Detroit. Summer 2022 will be the summer of Woodward sports. We just gotta make it through this damn cold first.
Back at it, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network. Neil Rule, D-Mac, Darren McCarty here in the house. We got Sawyer, the quarter mile with Sawyer, coming up in just a little bit. Worldwide news in the quarter mile, right? You got some of the Russia stuff in there?
Oh, yeah. It's affected Formula One a little bit, so we got to touch on it before we go to the NASCAR stuff.
Yeah, it's crazy how all that's shaking out, man. Like this is becoming like a new world thing where they're looking to choke you out financially.
Yeah.
It's not troops on the ground, it's pens on the paper.
Mm-hmm.
It's a new age, man.
Yeah, cyber attacks, all that type of
yeah,
stuff.
I mean,
it's crazy.
It's crazy. I mean, it did make the NASDAQ bounce back, though, yesterday.
Oh, yeah. It's one big, hairy winning machine, you know?
Hey, man. It's 100 years of bull market, baby. Love it or leave it. Love it or leave it.
It's charging.
We got Sam Flannel. He's on brand in the sound booth as well. But it is, D-Mac really got my gears turning on this. And I know it's a good question because my answer changes.
Get you off whining about going home and shoveling snow.
Well, I'm going to fire up the snowblower. Let's be real. I'm not going to go out there and shovel the snow.
Of course, Two Furnaces has a snowblower. Duh.
I mean, let's be real. I'm going to use the snowblower. There is no question about that. No, but we are, we're talking about it right now, and lots of traction about Marcus Williams and the Lions and the whole free agency thing. And Spotrac says that he's a 5-year, $75 million a year guy. And the Lions don't have a ton of cap space this year. They're sitting, I think, right around 20-ish million. You got to sign your draft class. That's about 10. So, you're leaving yourself 10-ish million of real cap space. There's some moves you can make. You could send Trey Flowers packing. That'll free up about $7 million right there.
But are you not looking right? Okay,
but if it's 5 years, it's long term.
On the next couple, see, I look at this. Where's the clock? Right, we're in a hiatus, but we still have the end. So at the end of this clock, which means the end of next season, going into the second draft, we should know. Oh, okay, specifically what our needs are. This is what I look to this draft to sort of dictate, and sort of free agency. Right now, you don't have as much money as a lot of other teams, but you have possibilities
enough to do this.
Enough to where you're at now.
Right.
To build yourself. So whatever it is, I'm just looking, and it's with this regime and everything else, where last year was about the draft. This year, is it about that free agent? Is it about drafting that court? Whatever it is. I think the most unknowns that we'll have about this Lions team is sort of right now, until they make some decisions, some signings as we go into this next season. As the season plays out, we see where they're at. We get to the end of my 2-year calendar, and then we reassess going into the draft. So again, it all comes down to, do you trust the guys in charge? So yeah, so many things to think about, and opportunities, possibilities, and I always revert back to this, Neil. Do I like who's making decisions for my teams? And in this case, yes.
There you go.
So I'm good.
Yeah, so you are good. And that's the thing. D. Smitty here on our YouTube chat thread. If they can get Marcus Williams, draft Hutchinson at 2, they can get a good linebacker at 32 or 34, and that defense is going to be a feared defense. Oh, and re-sign T. Walker as well. Okay, Smitty. But see, here's the thing, too, and I talked about this yesterday, and I'll talk about this more as we get towards the draft. D. Smitty, I think we need to tap the brakes a little bit on your line of thinking, because that's a fantasy sportsization way of drafting. Because you talk about these 3 picks, right? 3 of the first 34 picks. I will be ecstatic if 2 of those guys hit. That's the math, right? Like you can't realistically expect him to, on these 3 picks, bat 1,000.
No,
it's not realistic. One of them's not going to work.
You would hope that you hit on 2. The number 2 overall has to be good. I mean, for you to move, you have to take advantage. We've seen what.
But you see what I'm saying, though? Like, how people that have this checklist stuff, one of them's not going to work.
34
is not going to work.
Is not going to work.
That's the way it works,
the averages.
Guys.
Now, this time they might all work, but we're playing out the averages 2 out of the 3.
Yeah, and there's varying degrees of working. Right. You know what I'm saying? Maybe you get a stud and 2 serviceable guys. Maybe you get 2 studs, the other guy's a bust. Maybe the first guy's a bust, the other 2 work out pretty well. You know what I'm saying? Like there's wiggle room within all of that. But with all that being said, that's the law of averages, everybody. Like I know in your fantasy league, you do the if you get pressed into taking the quarterback, you're going to take the Mahomes, and then you're going to take like the Tyreek Hill-esque player on the second round, and then you know what I'm saying? Like that's not guaranteed with this. There's a way less of a hit rate than there is in your fantasy league.
No, absolutely, absolutely, yeah, right. Yeah, a lot less.
But D-Mac, like I think like people suffer from that a little bit. Like there's a skew of expectations as to how you think a real life draft is going to work versus a fantasy draft.
Yeah, I mean, but it's also too, Neil. Here's a difference in your fantasy draft. You're usually playing for that year, give or take, even if you carry one player over, right? It's almost like a restart every year, right? This is real life. This ain't a restart every year. You restart every year. Nobody's got jobs and stuff like this. So because you're building, you're looking for specifics, and other teams are too. You got to remember, there's 32 teams out there. So you never know what happens at certain times when that guy, I just hope that whatever guys that we like and we're able to get have the same production their first year as what we saw out of last year's draft class, and that means they have NFL stats behind their name.
Right. And Lewis M. is I think, in my camp. I'm with him on this. I think we need 2 drafts and then free agency in year 3, and that's where I am. Like, I advocate to just sit the free agency out this year. However, this Marcus Williams thing is intriguing because if you're talking about a 5-year contract, you know what I'm saying? Now it's not next year. Like, you don't have to win next year. You can still do the plan, and you're getting the safety. Boom, done for 5 years, and then hopefully your defensive end that you take, if that's the way that you guys decide to go. And Gromit says Hutch is a gimme, don't make life hard. I'm not convinced that Hutch is a gimme. Again, we're going to get into that debate as it goes on. We'll see the combine, we'll see the footage, because I don't think he is a gimme. I'm one of those guys that thinks he's at a ceiling right now. I'm one of those guys that thinks he benefited from Ojabo. And Thibodeaux, I think, has a higher ceiling. That's where I am. I'm going to write that in stone. That's where I sit right now until I get more data. And then I reserve. And the Georgia thing concerns me.
That's a Sam Flannel right there.
Yeah. And the Georgia thing concerns me. Yeah. The Georgia game concerned me. I'm sorry. It did.
Because the Georgia game, the SEC is sort of like the exhibition game to the big dogs. And then now you got to move up and play against men.
Yeah, and I know that I'm opening a whole can of worms right now, and the Michigan mob is going to come, with the swords drawn. I understand that. I get it. But
you're just speaking the truth. See, to me, and I will take new information, but Ojabo and Hutchinson, that aided to move up. Where Kayvon Thibodeaux, I always think he was bored this year. Whether it was injuries or not, but he wasn't invested, and it's the old case that we see every now and then.
Well, Hutch isn't going to take a play off, D-Mac. Hutch is above that. He won't take a play off.
Because you don't have the ability to. When you're not... No, when you don't
see, D-Mac, I love that you're saying that.
When you don't have, when you lack the talent, or you're at the top end, let's just say, when you are Darren McCarty, that your motor is what your talent. So it always has to go. You have no option for it not to go, because you can't be like a Sergey or, to take a shift off or whatever, because when you take a shift off, and them taking a shift off is still a shift on.
Listen to this man. This is how the real world works.
Right,
everybody.
Exactly. So the different talent level, I think we agree, is that strictly talent-wise, the big thing with Thibodeaux is his availability. It's his health more than anything. And I think he got bored last year and things that I'd seen. Now, is he durable? I don't know. Right? Well,
and Hutch
give
was
you
hurt
everything
too.
He has and whatever like this. Yeah. Would I be... But to me, I'd be more comfortable. I'm waiting to see if I could play him in the lineup. It's just that it's the number 2 overall pick. That's a big deal. Just because at number 3 we didn't take it seriously.
Right.
I mean, we all did. Somebody else in charge didn't. But that's why number 2. So not saying he won't be. It's a guy with the motor. It's the same thing as talented as T.J. Watt is, as talented, right? And that's what makes Aaron Donald so much more talented, is that when he doesn't shut the motor off. We saw what happens. So some of us just have to use the motor because that's part of our talent.
D-Mac, I love that you break that down, because whenever
Mike, I'm a 3-hit per shift type of guy. Let's get it in. Let's go.
But that's how the real world works, everybody. Okay, it just is. Some dudes that are talented don't have to try as hard because they're talented.
And then when they do, right?
It's next level. And you can't try hard all the time.
Will overcome talent when talent doesn't work hard.
Right.
Do you get that? Hard work will overcome talent when talent doesn't work hard. Again, hard work will overcome talent when talent doesn't work hard, which means when talent works hard, your hard work, you're hanging on, buddy. It can be done. That's when you need tricks of the trade. That's where experience and all the rest of it, cut corners and knowing what you can do, can help.
Right.
That's where it is.
Adam Baydoun on our YouTube chat
Another
thread.
one. I'm putting that one on a shirt.
Yeah, Adam Baydoun of the Morning Woodward Show says, D-Mac, I love you. Neil, I love you. You know what, Adam? I love you too. But I do want us to get to 200 likes. So D-Mac hits you with a left hook.
I think the people
I don't think we're going to get there, though,
conspiring
today.
with them. No.
Yeah, everyone says they want it.
They don't
But it doesn't look like they
don't really
want it.
Neil, how many times have I heard that? Priorities, right? How bad do you want it? No, how bad do you really want it? So they obviously, it's proof that they don't want it. They like Adam. They don't want to see Adam get knocked down. I would know that as many detractors as Adam has, right? I'd be telling my friends on the Morning Wood, spreading it around, figuring out how to get a bot to just hammer the like button. We'll get it over 200. He's laying down before anybody knows what's happening, right? Before our investigation. Or what did the NCAA, we're looking into it? Doing the NIL investigation.
A study.
The study. We'll study, see what happened by that time. You know, hopefully, what do they call it when time runs out? What happens when the case is too old to prosecute?
Oh, what? Yeah, what is that terminology? Statute of limitations?
That's what it is.
Yeah, I believe that's what it is.
Speaking of statute of limitations, again, hard work will overcome talent when talent doesn't work hard.
Yep, and you know
that's
where
statute of limitations.
Yeah, you know where I get my hard work in? Planet Fitness,
Because
home of the
fitness is essential.
Yeah, home of the judgment-free zone, where you can work out in a non-intimidating, judgment-free atmosphere. Membership starts at just $10 a month for access to your local club. Black Card members, they enjoy the use of all the amenities, such as unlimited tanning, hydro massage, the massage chairs, total body enhancement, and most importantly, to me anyway, access to over 2,000 locations worldwide with unlimited guest privileges. Went through there yesterday with Cristiano after we did the show. We went over to the Planet Fitness there on Maple Road and got it in. We got it in. Yeah, there was no question. You can join today in club. You're going to pass it on the way home. Just pull in the parking lot. Sign up in there, or if you want, you're at your computer now. You're feeling Friday. You're fired up. You want to start to get that workout routine going. Go to planetfitness.com right now on your computer, and you can sign up there. Tell them Woodward Sports sent you. No matter where you are, there's a Planet Fitness close by. One open in Midtown Detroit at the Detroit Pistons Performance Center. Right now, $0 down, $10 a month, and you're in the door. Do it, guys. Like. What risk is involved with that? Just go ahead and do it. And then see how it becomes a part of your life. And you can go ahead and do it at the judgment-free zone. They're hiring all positions as well. Looking for a gig in the fitness industry? Go to planetfitness.com. Planet Fitness, where
your fitness is essential.
Fitness is essential, everybody. See you over there at the one on Maple Road in Troy in about 60 minutes. See you there. Make sure you download the Woodward Sports app in the App Store and the Google Play Store today. Take Woodward Sports with you wherever you go and listen live on your phone or mobile device.
Putting on a show here, and that's how you answer. We love our sports. We just wish they'd love us back. Detroit sports for Detroit sports fans. Woodward Sports.
Back out of here, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network, Neil Rule, D-Mac, Darren McCarty. We got Sam Flannel. We got Sawyer as well. We got all of you on our YouTube chat thread, social medias, everything on the radio. Happy that you are with us. And, just wrapping up this discussion about, the draft and everything. And it always devolves into Hutchinson versus Thibodeaux discussion. That's the root of it all. It's always going to come back to that. It always will. And D. Smitty says, Neil, I don't want them to be superstars. We still got some key players coming back from injury. All they need to do is contribute. A Lee McNeil pick got a lot of flack, but he contributed. That's exactly what I'm talking about, my friend. He was in the box score. The bottom line, he was in the box score. All those guys contributed at some point. Those guys are going to get better.
Yes. I mean, those meat graders and figuring it out and being out there in the first year and stuff like that. So here's the one thing that I will say about Aiden Hutchinson, though, Neil, is I see a lot of me in him as far as when the doubters, the naysayers, the people telling him he can't do it, he gonna go and prove that he can. It's not because he ain't gonna put everything out there and do whatever else. I think that's so that Thibodeaux and Hutchinson, we'll find out they are two different people. Somebody said two different vehicles, more like a
I agree with that.
250 and more of a Ferrari, right? Where you're deal. So it also goes to what you're going to deal with now. Do I think if the Lions think that way that Hutchinson's a kid, right? That could fit. I think they both could, but here's the durability that he's going to leave everything out there. Right, and that's the question, the interview process. That's why not only the combine, and when I say the combine, I'm like anybody else. I want to see how fast guys run, but I want to hear the interview process. I want to hear what guys are saying and who surprised guys or who came out of the interview process, positively, because that's what I'm looking for. Right, I pretty much know what I'm going to get at Aiden Hutchinson, and I think saying that's the stalwart, it's the Thibodeaux is more the wild card. Now, in saying that, does it look more so that we're talking about stability with the Lions? If it's available, do you go with, if everything plays out, with the more stability in Hutchinson? Yes, but we're not there yet.
And that's my nature too. Like I think you guys know this by now. I'm more about ceiling. I'm more about stuff. Like you talked about, do you want like the decked out F-250 with the tow package and the 4-wheel drive and the ability to pull a building behind you?
Think about what you woke up to today.
Yeah. Or, do you want the drop top Mercedes? You know how I roll. I want the drop top Mercedes,
Absolutely.
man.
And I'll be
and you're more of an F-250 guy.
I'll be pulling you out of the ditch to my 250.
Sure. Absolutely. But when it's summertime, I'll be rolling down Woodward.
Hopefully the road will be fixed.
Well, yeah, as long as it's not, closed due to construction.
Somewhere. Why don't you say somewhere with nice roads? You'll be down.
Somewhere down in Lauderdale.
You'll be down in Emily
Key Biscayne.
Oh, there you go.
I'm more of a Key Biscayne kind of guy.
But to my point, Neil, are you looking, because you know the talent, and like you're saying, the top end, what are you looking for to hear? Is there something out of the combine, something out of the draft, something out of the interview process, or is it just the talent? Is it the immeasurables?
Yeah,
what are you looking for?
It's talent for me. It's ceiling. It's ceiling. What can they get to? And for me, and look, all the durability issues that people are talking about with Thibodeaux, people forget Hutchinson missed. Hutchinson had a broken bone last year too. Like he missed time as well. So, it's your narrative, right? At this point, it's like every other discussion we have in America in this time. It's all about what fits your narrative right now. I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued to hear you talk about it from an athlete perspective.
See, and I like the narrative of bring the hometown kid home. Let's bring it. Then you got Larkin, you got Hutchinson.
Sure.
These
and
guys,
that's fine.
Root for Ray, but if it's the best for the Lions, if it's a win-win and he's the best possible player, if I want to see Brad Holmes, no matter who he chose, and say we chose this kid at number 2 because yada 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 yada, right? Like the belief in it, not for anything other than that he fits where they're going.
Yeah. Eastside Meach, Kayvon did a few interviews recently, one of them with Ray Lewis, and he kind of sold me on his mentality. And that, that is something to, like, he seems like he's like with the crypto and everything like that. He does seem like he's got a very business savvy. And Tammy Chin, who listens to the show, we worked the autograph signing with him. So I'm sure she got a chance to talk to him. I'd be curious to see, I should reach out to Tammy and see, what her impressions were of him, like people that have been around him and stuff like that. Like, I know it becomes this Michigan versus everybody else battle, and the Hutchinson-Thibodeaux thing assumes this identity. I don't care about any of that, man. I care about the Detroit Lions, which is why I don't have a Detroit Rams t-shirt. Because I care about the Detroit Lions and who's playing for the Lions. Big game yesterday. And look, I'm going to cut you guys off before you do it, all right, about the draft capital and the tanking thing. Yes, it was a big win for the Pistons last night over the Cavs. It was. And here's the deal. Here's why. Because you have, and the math does play a part, yes. Here's the deal. Cade Cunningham, the numbers were good. The mentality on the floor was good. The shooting numbers were not good, but they still found a way to beat the Cavs. And I know that everybody was going crazy about the alley-oop to Bagley, and yes, that was a great play, and that was a lot of fun to watch. I get that. I understand that. I support that. People do need to tap the brakes on the whole Evan Mobley. Cade's better than Evan Mobley and stuff like that. People need to Evan Mobley's really, really good, guys, like really, really good. But it was a big win, and here's why. Does it go against my draft capital mentality? It does to a certain degree, but it's less than in the NBA. Now you're talking about what, like a 2% difference. If you have the worst record versus the third worst record, it's like a 4% difference in chance of getting the first pick. And I think when you have the number one overall pick who's used to winning, I do think it is important. And remember now, too, they won at Boston before the All-Star break. They won last night against Cleveland. They were big underdogs in both the games. Those are a couple of nice wins, D-Mac.
No, those are nice wins, and I think what I take back from is you look at the Cade Cunningham, obviously the futures game being the star.
Yeah,
him coming back saying he went out there to show out for his city, show out for his team. I think it's important. You see Marvin Bagley in the lineup there playing at LCA for the first time. This is sort of like the future of what's coming. I do not, Pistons wise, whatever. If they want to go on a streak, I don't think it's going to ruin any of their draft capital. They need these wins now. This win here now and then. Now I don't want them to go on a streak. I want them to stay down there. But there are things to see. And like you said, if this is a small sample size because it wasn't like somebody was out there dominating or whatever, they played like a team. I think it was a team effort and one of the best team efforts throughout the year. The one thing I think is apparent, though, is that there's some writing on the wall, for a few players, especially Killian Hayes, like we were talking about earlier. Yeah, I think what you're starting to see, right, Neil? Remember how we always said here, okay, thank goodness we got Cade, and he's our pillar and stuff like this. Well, do we have guys that to go along with him? Do we have a semblance of sort of a team here for the rest of the season and into next year? I don't think they're going to do anything to mess up their draft where they're at.
Not in the grand scheme of things.
Not in the grand scheme of things. Here's the thing. Because in the NBA, if you're bad, you're bad. Like, there's, 5-6 teams that are just bad. There's bad basketball teams. And I think what you're seeing is the Detroit Pistons figuring themselves out how to work themselves out of being one of those bad teams. And a lot of times when you get a trade, you get Bagley coming in trying to prove himself. So, I agree. He gave him a different element. D. Smitty, Marvin Bagley in the lineup did wonders. Yeah, it did. It gave him a different perception. And like I said to you early, go figure. Cade Cunningham says, you dropped me a big man? Here, let me see if we can do it. Because here's the thing with him. It doesn't matter who you bring in to play with him or to accent him. He's going to figure out how he benefits their game, right? He's not looking to say how they benefit his game, right? He's going to figure that out first. And then at showtime, when it comes down the stretch, boom, he's going to step up if he needs to.
Yeah, and also, too, on a side note, speaking of the Cleveland Cavaliers, a big congratulations goes out to my guy, Brandon Weems.
Yeah, absolutely.
He was named the assistant GM of the Cleveland Cavaliers. Jason Hillman, the vice president of basketball operations. Brandon Weems used to be an assistant coach at Oakland, played high school basketball at St. Vincent St. Mary with LeBron James, and one of the nicest guys you're ever going to come across in your life, especially for a guy, too, that, doesn't really have given his social standing and what he's accomplished and all that stuff, wouldn't have to be nice to you all the time. And he goes out of his way to be nice. He is one of the nicest dudes you're ever going to meet in your life.
And you know what? Which is cool with that is, this goes back to, this reminds me of my son, of Griffin, that what I told him is that my love of hockey, just because I played one Stanley Cups, is no greater than your love of hockey. It's different, right? So if you love this game, go find a way to be a part of it, right? So fast forward, right. He's coaching UCLA, and hopefully one day I'll be popping something up saying, hey, guess who just got hired? But this goes to show you that this guy's following his dreams, and along the way that has not hindered the person that he is. And I think we recognize that, and hard work pays off. So congratulations. There's another hometown, kid that came through the system, and transplant, I guess, stepchilds or whatever like this of here. But it says a lot for you to make sure that we make a point of that. Because
he's my guy.
There's a guy that needs to be seen. Hey, if you don't know this guy, this is it. And it's nice that the NBA is seeing guys like that too.
Yeah, and he worked his way up. Like I said, I mean, was a GA at Kentucky under Calipari, was an assistant at Oakland, was in the scouting department with the Cavs. I mean, you want to talk about working your way up the rungs. Like, there are people that, there are some people that are born on third base. Brandon Weems has worked his way up through this. He's worked his way around the diamond. There is no question about it. So congratulations to him. Happy to report that. When we come back, we got the quarter mile with Sawyer coming up in just a little bit. We will get to that. But Sawyer, look, man, the folding warehouse, the mystery beer machine, all of it. People are pulling out hitters. They're tweeting us pictures of the hitters that they're getting out of the mystery beer machine. We all love Foaling.
Yeah.
But this mystery beer vending machine has taken the audience by storm.
Yeah, it's kind of taken on a life of its own. You know what I mean? I mean, so popular, they had to get 2 of them. So now they have 2 at each bar there. So when you go in, you're not going to be struggling to find yourself a mystery beer. Super convenient. It's only $2, guys. So you just got to go in, give them your $2. They put it in the machine. Your mystery beer comes out. Then you're off back into Foaling again. Super easy, super convenient. Fun little game to play with yourself, too. I mean, they have over 100 beers, so it just takes all the hard decision-making out of your decision. You just say, hey, machine, make this decision for me. I don't want to pick from these 100 beers. Just do the deed for me. Give me a beer so I can get back to my Foaling and have a great time. And that's what it does for you. It gives you a good beer every single time. And, hey, while we're talking about the Foaling Warehouse, we might as well talk about Foaling, too. Game invented at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Place very special in my heart, so that makes the Foaling Warehouse even more special for me. And it's a super busy place, guys, super popular game. So if you're going on the weekends, you're going to have to take advantage of their private lane reservations. You can reserve a private lane for up to $120 for up to 10 people for 2 hours. So it's real easy. You'll get in, get your Foaling in, have a couple beers, eat some food, have a good time, then you're on your way again. Or if you're feeling dangerous and you want to get a lot of Foaling in, you can just show up, pay $10 at the door, stay from open to close, throw until your arm falls off, throw till you need to just take a break, eat some food, get a mystery beer. Like I said, same thing goes as with the private parties. I mean, the bars are still open regardless of how you're doing it. It's a great time. And like I said with the food, you can Uber Eats food, bring your own food in, have a pizza delivered. You're not paying for overpriced bar food. They're letting you bring your own stuff in, so that's really nice too. I mean, you really just get to pick what you want to eat, and you get to eat it there. It's a great time. So if that sounds like something you want to do, you guys got to go to thefoalingwarehouse.com. I'll say it one more time for you. It's thefoalingwarehouse.com, or show up in person at the Foaling Warehouse in Hamtramck. This is Big D Energy on the Woodward Sports Network. We got Neil on the desk, D-Mac on the desk, Sam making us sound pretty in the audio booth, and I'm in here keeping us live. Be right back on the Woodward Sports Network.
6 dark corners, a driveway and a patio, 5 windows that could become doors. Every house has unique security challenges. Guardian Alarm has more tech, more team, and more ways to help keep them all safe. Get a professionally designed and installed security and smart home system from Guardian Alarm. Sign up today and get a free video device. Guardian Alarm. Smart, right from the start. Call 1-800-STAY-OUT.
Opinions are like ear holes, and we're putting ours in yours.
Well, that's not winning, Joy.
It's Woodward Sports.
Coming on the stretch here, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network, Neil Rule, D-Mac, Darren McCarty, Sam Flannel on budget and on brand. Sawyer, as you know, getting it in as well. Casino Collins, Neil always hates on Michigan. Okay, man. I keep saying that, dude. I believe everything I said has been factually correct. So, I don't know.
Just
I don't
call
know
him Heel Neil.
Yeah, Heel Neil. I guess that's what it is.
Michigan takes again.
Rack says, rough night for Oakland last night. However, I've never seen shooting like that from Purdue Fort Wayne. Shaking my head. They were 8 for 12 from 3 to start the second half. 8 for 12. They shot at one time. They were, what were they? They were 15 for 28 from 3, man.
Pretty good.
It is. It was incredible. I had never seen a shooting.
Almost Steph Curry.
Yeah, I had never seen shooting like that either. Rack says they need to add a $2 mystery snack machine next to the beer machine, a mystery bag of chips, popcorn, beef jerky, etc., to go with the beer. That's intriguing. We'll suggest it to our people over there at the Foaling Warehouse. D-Mac, tomorrow night, Maple Leafs in town. The old Toronto-Detroit matchup.
I'll be in Chicago.
Yeah,
doing my wrestling stuff.
love watching Toronto lose. I do. When they lose in the playoffs, when they're on the brink of elimination in the playoffs, D-Mac, I lock in. I may link up with you this year. When Toronto's at their elimination game in the playoffs, we may have to get together and do a viewing party or something,
it's
man.
a good time. It's a good time. Reminds me, last time Toronto was in here, we had a 2-goal lead or a lead in the third, and they came back and beat us. So these are always big games. The Leafs fans represent. It's a lot easier to get a ticket at LCA than it is at the Air Canada Center or whatever like this. So, yeah, original 6 matchup. I think the intensity of these games has grown as both teams have sort of gotten better. Toronto's always, I mean, what are you gonna? You haven't won 5 years before I was born. It's the last time you won. I'll be 50 next month.
Think about that. I love it.
I'm not mad.
You are the Lions of hockey.
They are.
Toronto is the Lions of hockey.
I tell everybody, listen, I grew up a Dead Wing fan. We stunk, but we could beat everybody up. My cousin Chad was a Toronto Maple Leafs fan. We were 10 years old, made the largest bet at that time in my life.
In the history of 10-year-olds.
We bet $100 who would win the cup first, the Wings or the Leafs. The fact that we won in 97 and I scored the Stanley Cup clinching goal, I made him pay me $200. We rebet in 97 Lions Super Bowl or Maple Leafs Stanley Cup. At the end of the day, it's the best bet I've ever made because I'll still be up 100 whether the Leafs ever get over the hump or not.
Right.
So,
you may have to leave that one, let the lawyers handle that one after your guys' time has passed on planet Earth because it could be a long time for both of those to pay off.
It could be in the will.
Just remember that. To carve out a separate estate for whichever happens first.
In the estate sale, who wants anybody? Nobody take that up.
I do. I love watching Toronto lose in the playoffs, man. It's the best. It is the absolute best. But, yeah, Red Wings looking to bounce back from that game against Colorado where they were really taken out of that game in the first half. And, yeah, Toronto's good. I mean, we know they're going to lose in the playoffs because that's what Toronto ultimately does is they lose in the playoffs. So that'll happen. But they are a pretty good hockey team. So it'd be a nice win for the Red Wings to get.
They got one of the best players in the league, and Austin Matthews and stuff like this, and Mitch Martin. They got a really good team. It's just getting over that hump. They're still waiting to. I'm waiting to see that Matthew Stafford moment with Toronto, right? They usually, Montreal, no matter how bad Montreal is, they usually have their numbers. So a lot of times it's matchups, but maybe this will be the year. Usually comes back that they don't have the goaltending to get it done. But something usually comes back and haunts them. But, as far as our team, it's another great test, right? You look at the last week that the Wings played. So we were talking about how, I guess, where we could see the reality of where our team was at compared to Colorado. Well, you know what? As far as the Leafs go, here's another test coming in. So I would expect you're battling the inconsistencies of the season. You have all these games. You won a tough one in New York. You lost a tough one at home. You got to come out and you got to win this game.
And you got to win one,
You got to win this game. And again, it
Period.
tells who it will.
I don't want to hear about
try
try hard. I don't want to hear about played well and lost. Don't want to hear it, man. Like, these are part of those steps. Go out and win the game.
That's what it
yes,
is.
they're a good team. Yes, they are. Yes, you guys lost a game and you were taken out of that game. That's fine. But go out and win it. That's part of the steps. Again, if they lose, I won't be mad. I'll be disappointed.
Oh, ma.
I won't say, fire Stevie Y or any of that, or back up the truck, turn the place into a parking lot. None of that stuff. I'll just be disappointed. I'm looking for the check marks, right? And beat good teams. That's a good check mark to me. D. Smitty says, Red Wings still have the best jerseys. And I know we've talked a lot about jerseys, certainly with the Pistons going back to the teal. But, since we're talking about jerseys, Sawyer.
Yeah, found this last night. I mean, we were talking about black alternate jerseys.
Yes.
D-Mac always wanted to wear a black one.
Yeah.
I saw this on my Twitter timeline.
Give me the 96 beret on the back of that.
Awesome. No, it was always fun. Vancouver's always had it. I was born out there, too. But that was always a cool I think that's Kurt McLean in net there.
Give me that Pavel Bure jersey all day long.
Yeah, that was fire.
It got to be the black one too. That's absolute fire. There's no other way to describe that. The Canucks jerseys, they were incredible, man. God, they were incredible. Speaking of incredible, March 26, 1997. There's a big anniversary thing going down at the Pro Sports Zone. The guy to my left here, Darren McCarty, doing an autograph signing out there.
Yeah, it's I guess it's official. The 27th, so from noon to 3, and Claude Lemieux and Adam Foote are coming into town. We're going to sign all that photo. So for any of yous, I guess there's your anniversary present from DMAC, is to bring these clowns in town and get your pictures. Don't you love how it says no derogatory comments made, and then didn't you guys say?
I told you, DMAC, under yours it should say derogatory inscriptions will be signed.
So maybe we'll behave that day, just because we're going to be a gracious host.
There you go.
And actually, you know what? As much as didn't like them as players, Adam Foote's. I've known him a long time. He's as a dude, he's one of my favorite dudes. But Claude, I got respect for, and the fact that these guys are coming in to do it, to sign that photo. And like I tell everybody else, I would never have been in that position, but I would never sign a photo of me in that position if I ever was. Real quick.
Yes.
Harley Fife asked of the 4 Stanley Cups, which one is your favorite? And then I went into, they're all like children. Like your children, and you love, but the first one scored the goal. Come on, that's DMAC. DMAC will tell you. Darren McCarty, they're all 4. They're like your kids. You love them. They all have storylines. Obviously, the Believe, the Vladdy, the team in 02 that was supposed to do it, and then the comeback and stuff. But DMAC says the first one, he scored the goal. Come on, 42 years, history like that. Give me a break. So D-Mac says the first one. Darren McCarty says all 4. Can't separate them, Harley. If that helps. There's a little baby story time with D-Mac.
Yeah, absolutely. So, by the way, we're putting together a show. I believe we'll do it on Friday, March 25th. And Sawyer, what's the email address?
Just Sawyer at woodwardsports.com.
Sawyer at woodwardsports.com. What we're looking for, little selfie video of you, what it meant to you, what you were doing that night, what a memory it was for you, all that stuff. And Sawyer will sort through all of them. And again, it doesn't have to be elaborately produced or anything. Like literally just a selfie video of you, explaining what it meant to you. So that's something we're looking forward to. We'll play a couple of those during the show as well. I'm going to head up the interview of DMAC that day, and it'll be the best interview of that day.
Thank God. Finally somebody making a new question.
Yeah.
We've only had 25 years to break it down. There's got to be something new.
There's got to be something new. And yes, this will be me doing the interview. And me speaking like you guys as a fan, some of the fan things that I wondered about that. And I think it's going to be really, really fun. There's not going to be a ton of script to it. It's going to be your videos. That's going to be a lot of it. And it's going to be a lot of my questions to DMAC about it, and a lot of footage and all that stuff too. And probably we'll talk about past sports and how I miss past sports, because I do.
Past was good.
Past was a lot of fun.
I think
man.
I just missed Channel 50.
I do. I miss Channel 50
you
as
know
well.
what? And that... Go ahead. Do the reading of it, because I'll get into a diatribe.
Quarter Mile with Sawyer coming up, but not before I tell you about SMA, the sports marketing agency, leveraging pro athletes and other notables for about a decade against the issues around mental health and substance abuse disorder. With the help of NFL alumni, Sean Jordan has been able to save lives and take a stand against these issues. And coming soon to Woodward Sports, the SMA podcast, This is the F Word, a series on fentanyl. If you're struggling with substance abuse or mental health, they are here to help. Go to thesportsma.com. Again, that's thesportsma.com to find out more and be on the lookout for This is the F Word, the Woodward Sports podcast, a series on fentanyl. We'll be back with more Big D Energy right here on the Woodward Sports Network.
Life is full of hard choices. We're here to make one of life's biggest decisions as simple as possible. My name is Christina Gennari, and for over 20 years, I've helped hundreds of families buy and sell homes. We cover all of Metro Detroit and more, from large luxury homes to starter homes. We will work hard to make sure that you get the home of your dreams. So if you're in the market today or even thinking about buying or selling in the future, make the obvious choice. Christina Gennari, the obvious choice in real estate. Visit us at soldchristina.com today.
Neil Rule for Chili Peppers Tanning, where you'll find the cleanest salons in the D. Spotless, sanitized room, trained and certified tanning professionals. You can join the Pepper Club. Get all the best deals. They'll beat all competitors' prices by at least $5. All the designer names as well. The Australian Gold, the designer Skin, Caltan, the Swedish Beauty Lotions. All of that. They got the hottest bulbs, the hottest deals, the darkest tans. ChiliPeppersTanning.com is your vitamin D headquarters. 26 locations, more on the way. We were just out there this week at the new one in Berkeley. Can confirm. Toured the facility, walked through all of that. Cleanest salons, there is no doubt about it. People were shockingly knowledgeable too. It was incredible listening to these people talk about it. They know the game, folks. So if you're looking to get a base before you roll down to Florida for spring break, very easy decision. Chili Peppers Tanning. Wrapping things up here, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network. Neil Rule, D-Mac. We got Sam Flannel. We got Sawyer ready to roll with the quarter mile. Worldwide implications. The whole Russia situation certainly has something to do with the Formula 1, so we will discuss that. Y'all ready to rock with that?
Oh, yeah.
Let's get it in, guys. It's time. Get the clock up on the board. Sam Flannel, you know the drill. When that clock hits 0, you're shutting that microphone off. Sawyer.
All right.
Let's drop the green flag.
All right. So, yeah, as we know, Russia invaded the Ukraine. So with that came a whole bunch of different stipulations and everything. We don't really want to get into the politics of all that. But with that, the Formula 1 has come out and announced they've canceled the Russian Grand Prix that was going to be in September. And then drivers have also came out and said, before that the Grand Prix was canceled, Sebastian Vettel came out and said that he was not going to race in the Grand Prix should it go on. So I thought that was very interesting. But also, Haas Formula 1 team is backed by a Russian-owned company, and one of their drivers is Russian-born. So they've actually taken off all Russian branding on their car and their hauler. So now it's just a plain white car, and the hauler is just plain white with a little bit of red and blue. But the main title sponsor of the company and car was like, I don't even know how to pronounce it. It was like Urkrali, something like that. It was one of the driver's dads owns the company. So that's very interesting that they've been stripped of that. And then I saw Robert Colosia also threw out in the chat, the driver's dad, Nikita Mazepin, his father was actually summoned to go talk with Putin like today or something. So there could be implications with that. Yeah, I have no idea what's going on there. And then also to keep it in the Formula 1, we have F1 testing going on. Day 3 is going on right now, so I don't have the updated testing times. But my boys with the prancing horse Ferrari on top of the timesheet. Charles Leclerc setting the fastest time with a minute 19 lap time. Slowest lap was Lewis Hamilton with a 1:22, which is very surprising for the Mercedes. But, I mean, I feel like F1 fans all around the world were rejoicing that.
Don't worry, they have an excuse for it.
Oh, yeah. I mean, a lot of people want them to tank, so... Yeah, very exciting, though. And then to kind of mix in D-Mac's pit boss, I mean, we know whose picks are going to be. It's going to be Brad Keselowski or Kyle Busch. But we got the odds pulled up for you. And, I mean, Larson's at the top, plus 400 to win it, plus 100 to take a top 3, minus 250 for a top 5. So, yeah, there's some of those odds for the NASCAR race and Auto Club Motor Speedway this weekend. And, yeah, it's going to be a good one.
So, is that it?
Yeah. All
right. So as you can see, I'm just going to piggyback off that, where you can see Kyle Busch plus 800, Brad Keselowski plus 2,000. A lot of front runners, but you know what? Whenever you can get Joey Logano, I don't care what it is, over plus 1,000 on any of the races like this. As you see, he's plus 1,400, I think here. That's a must. And you don't see Bubba Wallace on there, but the lowest I've seen at him, and remember he finished second last week, and there's something with these next gen
in the
cars.
Daytona crapshoot you're talking about?
The Daytona crapshoot,
okay.
Yep. This won't be as much of a crapshoot this week out in
you mean it'll take some skill to win this one?
But Bubba Wallace plus 10,000. That's why if you look at some of these odds, that it can come down to it. Now, the front runners are usually there, but, like Robert said, maybe Hamlin could have a bounce back track weekend. Did you look up and see any? In case Neil wanted to get in, I said he could pick whoever
let's put
he
it back.
Heads up.
Let's run it back. Chase Elliott versus Joey Logano.
Okay.
Eggs part
there
2.
You go.
Can we get that one on the books?
Eggs part 2.
Chase Elliott is my guy. That was a guy I originally wanted to go with last week before I started listening to some of you guys. As always, I should just trust me and what I'm doing here. Now, all right, I paid the tax.
Yes, you
I've been initiated into the club.
Yep.
Now it's your ass, D-Mac. Now you're going to be...
Now you're coming at it. So what Neil's saying is not only is he taking Chase against D-Mac and Joey Logano, what is Chase Elliott straight up? on the odds
8
board.
8-1, I think. I think I saw 8-1.
8-1.
Yeah, he's plus 800 to win.
Plus 800.
And
That's a good
I'll
number.
jump on him too. I'll put my money where my mouth is. I'll
Let's
jump on
do
him
it.
this week.
All right.
I'll do it. And Joey Logano, Chase Elliott, Eggs Part 2. It's your ass, D-Mac. That's what we're putting on the
So is your guy
T-shirt.
going to finish the race this time?
Yeah, well, yeah, he's gonna be top 5.
Okay,
man.
I like it. Well, that's
And he'll be higher than Joey Logano.
All right.
That's all I know.
Neil's real bitter. And
I am
the
bitter.
snow, the potholes, the roads. Just keep Neil in your heart.
It's a cardio
till
day,
Sunday
too.
afternoon when you know that D-Mac's going to have another round
No.
of eggs over medium. Who you like, Sawyer?
I mean, I like Chase, obviously, all the time. He's my guy, but I really like Austin Cindric, and I think he's going to keep it hot, keep it rolling.
There's something to it.
Yeah.
We mentioned he won the 500 in the crapshoot last week, Daytona, which a lot of great drivers haven't been able to knock that. And I like
Because
the way
it's
he
not a
bounced
race.
back.
It's a trip to the crap table. It's a spin of the roulette wheel. It's not a race. There's no skill.
Sawyer, but did you not think that Daytona 500 last week was actually more of the gentlemanly cup compared to what we've seen in the past? So I don't know what Neil's talking about, but that was like,
oh, you guys, you guys
what?
are so simple. You guys are all so
Neil
simple.
likes two-hand touch.
It was close, so it made it a great race. No, the good drivers weren't there. The best of the sport were sitting
they
on the
were there early,
sidelines.
and then they were back in the pack, and they got in a wreck, and they were around.
Yeah.
Why? Your guy put himself in a bad spot. Anyways, you're going to hear more of this. Don't worry. I look forward to seeing everybody RPW, ICW Chicago this weekend. If you're in Dallas, I'm there for the alumni game. I won't be here Monday. You'll have T-Foss, but I'll be back Tuesday.
And don't worry, Rack says, D-Mac, it must be legs day for Neil. No, worse, it's cardio day. Cardio day, then got to go deal with the snow.
You guys got it figured out, too.
Appreciate you guys all week tapping in. Love you guys. For Sawyer, for Sam Flannel, and D-Mac, my name's Neil Rule. Appreciate you watching and listening. We'll see you on Monday, everybody. Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network. Well, see you later.